The federal Conservative leadership race taking a major starting point yesterday as 5 of the 6 candidates faced off in an unofficial debate, but the first debate of their campaign at the Canada Strong and Free Networking Conference in Ottawa. Janice McGregor is in the city for us, watching as things got heated very quickly last night. Janice?
Oh, absolutely, Heather. This was just an unofficial debate in this race. Didn't even have the full field, as you say, but these contenders, Heather, got right into it. The luck of the draw put Jean Charest, Pierre Poilievre right beside each other in the middle of the stage, and watching it, you could almost feel the tension, see the heat rising between them. Pierre Poilievre wasting no time, going right at Jean Charest. Take a listen.
I could go down the list of all the Liberal policies that you brought in that you're trying to hide from today, but we don't have enough time to go through them all. I am a true Conservative. I've stood for the same things my entire life. I'm not just putting on temporarily a blue shirt to cover up a red shirt underneath it in order to take over the party.
So, as the perceived front-runner in this race, has been leading in fundraising, for example, and filling rooms across the country. No surprise then to hear that Poilievre got a lot of support in this room, partisan crowd at this conference. But if we've learned anything from the career of the former Quebec Premier, Jean Charest has been fighting some of this country's most fundamental battles basically all his life. This is a guy that gives as good as he gets, and last night was no different. Take a listen.
We pushed back on that referendum, and Canada stayed united. And believe me, if I was able to fight back the separatists, it's not this guy here on the stage tonight that's going to intimidate me and stop me from defending Canada. That's for sure. That will never happen.
And there were a few points, Heather, where the moderators just let these two guys go at each other. Here is a moment where Poilievre was going after Charest's former business dealings in the private sector after he left Quebec politics, when he had Chinese tech giant Huawei as one of his clients. Take a listen.
Mr. Charest, how much money did you get from Huawei when you were working for them, either directly or indirectly? Just the number, please. How much? Just the number.
Can I?
Mr. Charest.
Are we talking about the company that Stephen Harper welcomed into
Just
Canada?
Just the number, please. How much?
In 2012.
How much, sir?
We're not on a student council here, Pierre.
How much?
Pierre, this is not a student council, please.
How much?
And back and forth it went, Janice. Did anybody else manage to get a word in edgewise?
Yeah, it was hard at times to tear your attention away from the stark kind of tension between those two guys. But next to Poilievre, I have to say, Leslyn Lewis probably had the most support, at least the most vocal support that you could hear in that room. And she appeared to be trying to work to dent Pierre Poilievre's credibility, especially with social conservatives. Here's some of what she said.
Mr. Pierre Poilievre has ran from the media the last few days because he doesn't want to declare whether he's pro-life or pro-choice. As a leader, he is going to have to declare that. He cannot just be a minister of finance if he wants to be a prime minister. He is going to have to deal with social conservative issues, which he has been running from this entire campaign.
Then you have Scott Aitchison and Roman Baber, the other two contenders on this stage. They had a few withering lines of their own, particularly when they were talking about some of the tactics and some of the language they've seen so far in this race and the risks that may pose for the party in the future.
If we can't go out and speak to Canadians in all parts of the country and make sure that we are trustworthy, that we don't scare them, every time I hear a Conservative talk about some conspiracy theory, I realize that there's another group of swing voters in the GTA that just are not going to come our way.
I don't think that attacking each other scorched earth is going to win us an election. Let's look at ways to have a civil debate, and because we have a much tougher debate ahead of us in the general election.
So quite a few potent arguments for the people who are going to vote in this race to consider. Quite a bit of tension. I want to show you a bit of footage here from the very end of the event. Clear there's lots of unfinished business between these candidates, and Charest and Poilievre not even shaking hands at the end. There were some handshakes between some of the others. So clear that there's a lot more arguing to do here. And if this is how this field is squaring off at an unofficial debate, Heather. Just imagine what lies ahead next week at the party's first official debate hosted in Edmonton. And I can say that one will have an added factor in the mix because Patrick Brown, who has been kind of disrupting the dynamic of this campaign so far with very aggressive recruiting strategies, bringing new members in to vote, and also having some controversial policy positions, challenging things Conservatives have said and done in the past. Now he also next week will be on that stage. The full field of 6 candidates promises maybe to be appointment viewing for anyone who cares about politics and specifically Conservative politics in this country, Heather.
Looking forward to hearing your reporting in the aftermath of that. Thank you so much, Janice.